I don't think there is much of a difference, but since we have our own dialect and we were mostly separated from Armenia because we had our semi-independence and we were like a little fortress, mountainous fortress. We think a little bit differently sometimes when it comes to certain topics.
I think this provides a really good segue to, unfortunately, the part of our conversation that is not so delightful.
Yeah.
And to kick things off, can you help us like understand your emotions on the 27th of September?
Personally, I was not expecting that my life would change so much over a day. So it was like any other day, and you wake up and you find out that war has broken, and suddenly, you don't really feel it personally. You are not there, you are not in the fight, but you feel that something big has changed, and you just can't live like you did yesterday. As from today on, it will be different. So the first thing you do is you start trying to find information to find out what happened, what is going on, and contacting everyone you know to find out how they are doing, if they are safe, if they are okay, what are their plans, what are they going to do. So life just changed overnight, and when you read about it, you don't really pay attention to the sayings when they say, since the war broke, everything changed. And when you feel it yourself, you start understanding it in a different way. How life just changes overnight, and you don't know what you're supposed to do, if you're supposed to live like the way you did, or you're supposed to go and help somehow. So that was a wake-up call of sorts, when you understand that something big has changed and you don't know how to deal with it in the first day or so. It takes time to understand what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to live on.
And what went through your head to remind of the last few weeks? Like, were you like, oh, I have to go to Artsakh, I want to help, or I want to like be removed and see what I can do online. I want to mobilize other people. What went through your head? What things did you do?
Yeah, exactly. Like it was, where will I be most useful? Should I like join the people that are going and with the doctors who are going to Artsakh, returning to help with the soldiers, help with operating, or should I stay here rather and continue studying and help with whatever I can? And doing, like, I'm an ophthalmologist, I'm not going to be of big help there. So I thought that it will be better if I stay here and take care of running the hospital and making sure that the doctors that have left, someone has to do their job. So the doctors that are operating on the soldiers, someone has to take care of their patients. So we took on that load on ourselves. So that's the best we can do to help them. And sort of that was the conclusion that I came to, that I would be more useful if I'm here doing the best I can rather than trying to help with something that I'm not really good at.
And are you like in whole with yourself? Like I wanted to say satisfied, but I don't know if it's the right word. So do you think that yes, what you do, what your decision was the right thing to do?
Um, well, I think only time will show if it was the right decision or not. But as of now, I think the best I can do is doing the things that I'm capable of doing the best way I can. So although I can't operate on the soldiers, I'm not skilled. I haven't learned that. I'm not a surgeon. So the surgeons are doing their job, and I'm helping them by managing the patients that don't need surgery. So they don't have to worry about that part. So I think I believe that if everyone does what they can the best they can, it's the right decision. So instead of running around trying to learn something new from scratch to go and then help, it is better if everyone in their place does their job well, so the mechanism continues working. It doesn't stop because war broke out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the most important thing is to keep as much normalcy as possible for the country
Yeah.
to be able to re-emerge successfully.
Yeah, so it doesn't stop suddenly, so it continues working, it continues functioning. I think it's the best help that we can do.
And do you have any information of the damage in Artsakh? And I think that goes very close to you, because what you liked about Artsakh is the historical aspects. And
Yeah, sure.
can you,
So
yeah.
I don't have more information than Arthur because I'm not there. I'm only reading online and finding information. I have as much information as everyone else. So my home city Hadrut, it was it was in the fights. It was taken by Azeris, then taken back by our soldiers. So my grandparents' house was there. So of course it worries me to know that the enemy has entered my country, my city where I grew up, which I consider mine, and they have been doing everything they find fit, even if it's illegal, like bombing, destroying infrastructure, burning the citizens' homes, like even the churches, the hospitals. They don't differentiate between those and military objects. They treat everything as something that you can bomb and you can go. It's normal for them. I think they don't see it as of any value, and it hurts me, of course, to know that a country that you value so much, that you love so much, is being destroyed, and is being destroyed. So violently. It's barbaric if you think about it. Bombing churches and bombing hospitals, it's against everything that humanity stands for.
And
It's inhumane.
please, so not only historic structures
Yeah.
crashing down, but also important civil structures, hospitals.
Yes, hospitals, homes, roads, stations, everything that will be that are useful for the people that live there. They target those too, so people will not be able to live there the way they are used to. So they destroy everything. So there is nowhere to return to. Although it's a big mistake on their part, because we have been through this and we have rebuilt everything after the first Artsakh war. It's a very I don't know, it's a very specific way of thinking, I think, for them, that they expect us to not return to because they destroyed everything. I don't think it's going to stop anyone. It's not going to stop us. It's just a matter of rebuilding. So I think the biggest hit that we have received during the war are the lives of the soldiers. Those are the most valuable things that we won't be able to get back. So even if it's the hospital, if it's the churches, we can rebuild those. But unfortunately, just that are the things that can be rebuilt. That's just a matter of time. But the lives of young guys of 18 to 20 years old boys are fighting for our freedom. So a whole generation is being killed, and that won't be retrieved no matter what we do. So I think that is the biggest hit that we get from this war. It is the biggest price that we pay.
So likely this question I will ask you is possibly a very hard and tough question. But if you think about the young soldiers on the Azeris side, also that are 18, 19, 20 years old, that are committing these attacks, and maybe that have grown up under constant brainwashing, do you think if they at some point in time, not now, not today, maybe in a year, 10 years, whatever, if they show like honest, sincere apology and a call for reconciliation, do you think, would you ever be able to extend your hand and say, like, if you mean it, maybe we can?
Well, first of all, I don't think that we are now fighting with an enemy that is ready to peacefully negotiate and peacefully coexist. Although it will be okay, of course, it will be great if we can coexist peacefully. But as history has shown time and time again, unfortunately, it is well mostly impossible for us to find a common ground. So, well, if of course, if they mean it, of course, it's a possibility. But I think in reality, that is not really going to happen because that has been the way our enemy has shown that from day one, they have shown that they have no intentions of living peacefully, coexisting. So I really don't believe that it's even going to happen. That they will come and say, let's live peacefully. Because come to think of it, we have been for these 30 years, of course we had fires, we had like small local fights around the border. We have been living peacefully all this time. We haven't been living together, we have been living in separate countries, but we have been living in peace, and we were not the ones that decided that, well, okay, this is not working, let's start a war. It was not our decision. So
But I think there always have to be two perspectives present in human beings.
yeah.
Reality and dream.
Yeah.
And we hope always, doesn't matter what are the constant cards, that the day will always come in the context of a lifetime where dream or the dream state may prevail.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more as well about your emotional state. How did it make you feel or experience that Sushi, for example, is under attack? The city
Yeah.
grew closest to your heart.
Well, a little correction, like the city closest to my heart is Hadrut, and it was hit early in the war. So it, of course, it makes you feel angry, feel wrong, because, well, did you really have to go that far, like that kind of thinking? But I also understand that war is the war, so the war doesn't have the same logic as the peaceful times. So of course I'm worried. Of course it's not a peaceful. I don't have a peaceful mind right now. So of course I'm worried. I'm worried for the people that are left there, for people who are living under bombings, for the soldiers that are fighting all the time. They are fighting 24/7 against a much bigger force. They are fighting with technology, not only against humans. They are mostly fighting with technology. With weapons that are prohibited. So of course it makes you worried, but I'm sure, I'm positive that we will be able to overcome this, that we will win. And so although there is the worry for the people who are involved, for the country, but also there's the confidence that we are going to get over this, that everything will be fine. We will win and everything will be okay again. So those are the main things. So being worried on one side, and on the other side you are confident that everything is going to be fine.
So that leads us really to when everything is going to be fine, and let's equate fine to being safe to be and live in Artsakh. And because of whatever agreement will emerge, what has to be done? What are the implications? What do people have to do? What do people of Artsakh have to do? Of Armenia, of friends, of the global community? What has to happen?
Well, I think we are already doing our best. Armenia and Artsakh, people of Armenia and Artsakh, they are doing their best. People who are fighting are doing their best, and people who are back at their homes, we are doing everything to supply to our army. So both Armenia, Artsakh, and our diaspora, we are all working together to find the solution to help our army to um, finally like win this war, and we are all hoping that it will be peace as soon as we can. So I think realistically the peace will be only when we are like we reclaim the territory that the Azeris took from us. Like they are controlling like some portion of the some portion of Artsakh. When we take all of those back, when we start attacking back, and when they understand that they have no other choice but to beg for peace, I think that will be realistically what will happen. So as long as they think that they have a chance of winning, they are not going to stop. So we have to win to finish this war. And even if we finish this war, it will be just a portion of the job that has to be done. So after the war, there will be, of course, the diplomatic part, the part of like talking relations, international relations, alliances, but that all of that will come after we win in the battlefield. So right now the biggest concern is supplying the army, doing our best to be helpful to keep the mechanisms running so it doesn't collapse.
Thank you very much for the demonstration. And what will you do after the war? Will you return to Artsakh? What will your friends do? What is the common consensus right now? What has to be done after the war? Of civil society, of individuals like yourself.
Well, I think most of the people don't look that far into the future. We are living now. We are taking care of the things that have to be done in this moment. So I think all of those plans will be thought about after the war. So even if we have a great plan for the future, if we don't do what we have to do right now, it will be pointless. So right now, the society, people around me, they are focused on doing their best at every moment in the present, instead of looking into the future and thinking what we are gonna do after the war. So that's the general mood. So we are trying to do our best right now, and whatever comes after the war, we will take care of that when the time comes.
That makes a lot of sense. First, peace, and then future.
Yeah, and then we can think and theorize about what we're going to do.
And yeah, maybe last but not least, you are working in a hospital. You have
Yes.
colleagues in optoplasticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can you tell us or share some insights about what kind of what kind of wounds are treated, what kind of people come in, and your really tangible and visceral experience with war, whether through your own eyes or through the words of a colleague?
Yeah, sure. So we usually get soldiers that have been already in other hospitals because they don't really have only one trauma or only one wound. They are wounded from head to toe. So they first they arrive already taken care of. So we take care of the eyes, and then after they are recuperate, they will go back to the recovery homes or the hospital that they are being treated generally. So we have soldiers with multiple traumas, unfortunately, because of the clusters, because of the bombings, because of the. So we usually get very difficult cases where we try to do our best to save the eyes, but unfortunately, in most of the cases, the eyes are unfortunately being removed. So it's also a very hard decision. We try to do our best to save those patients, to save their eyesight, but mostly, unfortunately, we have to remove them. And also we have to. One of the most difficult parts is telling the patient that you are trying your best, but you can't save their eyesight. Although we do our best, so I think that's the biggest damage that the war does, changing people's lives, and they have to learn to live with this disability. And although many of the soldiers are very positive, they are happy that they were able to stay alive, that they urge the doctors to heal their wounds as fast as they can so they can return to the battlefield. So we are really amazed at their bravery, because people who are returned from the battlefields, they have a different mindset. They have goals. They want to return and reach those goals. They want to reunite with their fellow soldiers. So they will urge us to do your best. So I have to return as fast as I can.
That is, these words are firstly very heavy.
Yeah.
But it also shows the tale of human hope, persistence, and courage.
Yes, of course, sure.
And thank you for sharing these details. And I think it is enough detail to exemplify why cluster bombs, for example, are prohibited by the Geneva Convention, are illegal to use, yet in this war there's no taboo.
Yeah.
Lilit, it was our utmost pleasure to welcome you today at Faces of Armenia. And let us know if you have any concluding remarks, greetings, or thoughts.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It was my pleasure to talk to you too. Really, I don't think I have any words for closure other than that we are very confident. We are fighting. We are doing our best to help our people, help our soldiers, and we are doing our best. We will do our best, and we will win.
With these words of courage, Shnora Kalati.
Thank you.